Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utabadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsya Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyata Deshatarine Namo Vishnapadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Niti Namine Srivarshabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryojjala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddhapa Siddhanta Dvantaharine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambode Padambujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidanandanamine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumesvam Nirdesha Sajjana Priyaha Vaishtava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathayate Namaha Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha namo mahavadanyaya Krishna prema pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya namne gauratvishay namaha Panchatattva atmakam Krishnam bhaktarupaswarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jaitam Suratur Pangur Mamanda Mater Gati Matsarvasva Padam Bojau Radha Madana Mohano दिव्यदृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधाशैलगोविन्ददेवौ प्रष्ट्रालिभिस्सेव्यमानौ स्मरामि श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भि वंशीवटतटस्थितः कर्षं वेणोसनेर्गोपी गोपीनाथः श्रीस्तुनः सप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So Janturvacha, Jantu, that is a living entity in the womb, experiencing the three miseries. He says, "So Lord, why have you put me here? When you are going to get me out of this place?" Then Lord said, "Oh, do you think I have put you here or what?" So, "No, you are not put me. It is a kind of my karma. I come here. So I am suffering. Please get me out of your place." Okay, the Lord said, "I'll take you out because you have bhakti for me. You have prayed for me, and you are suffering. So I'll take you out of this room." He said, No, don't take me out of it. I want to be here only." Why? Because once I go, then your Deva Maya, your Maya will attack me. And I'll suffer more, I'll forget you. Then he says, what you want, tell me. Then he says, Upasadita Vishnupadaha Mame Bhavishyad Mame Bhavishyat. I will not have to get the misfortune of getting this material body again. And I'm now just want to take shelter of your lotus feet. Remembering your place. Tasmadaham vigata viklava uddharishya atmanamasu tamasaha surudatmaneva bhuyo yatha vyasanam yadenekaranthram mame bhavishyat. Let me not come back to this material world again, and I want to be here only. So just want to take shelter of you, nothing else. Now, Kapila Uvacha, 22nd verse, 21st chapter. Evam kritamatir garbhe dashamasya suvandrashi satya kshipanjavachinam prasutyai shrutikarutaha suti marutaha. Suti marutaha means what? Yeah, that maruta, that airs, which remove the baby from the womb, pushes the baby out of the womb. It is known as Shatavayu or Sutivayu, Shata. So, evam krita matir garbhe, in the garbha, in this way, dasha masasya stuvan rishihi. This rishi, dashamashaha, for dasamasa, 10 months, 10th month actually. It is, Garbhavasa is for 9 months, 9 days, 9 hours, 9 minutes, 9 seconds. It's 99999 for humans. That's how 12 is complete. Lord Ramachandra stayed in the womb for 12 months, so he is complete, Purna Purushottama. So 12 is complete, 9 is humans, that is what they can achieve, 9 maximum. But completeness, complete figure is not 9. 9 is not Purna Sankhya. 12 is Purna Sankhya. 12 months, you have 12 Rashis, or things is 12. Dashamashaha, he praises the Lord. What happened? Sadhyaha kshipatti avachinam. The air, Sutimaruta, suddenly, what happened? Made the jiva to enter to this world. Avachinam prasutyai Sutimarutaha. So, Sutimarutaha moved entered to the samsara. Avachinnam. It happens in the 10th month. Yeah, read the purport. No purport. Tena vasishtha sahasa kritva vakshira atura Vinikshyanti grichena niruch asohata smritihi. So when he was pushed by this air, tena vasrishta sahasa, pushed by the air down, then what happened? Kritva vakshira aturaha. So much of pain, and his head was down. And when he comes out, it's so much of difficulty. Krichrena. Vinishrikshyamati krichrena. Niruchvasho hataspatihi. Because of breathing problem, because inside he was breathing in a different way. Now when he comes, he has to breathe all of a sudden. He has to start breathing. When the baby is born, he should cry. Cry means then he's breathing. If he doesn't cry, he'll die. He's beaten hard. Then because of pain, what happens? He does, isn't it? Then he learns to breathe. Otherwise, he's not breathing, isn't it? First he breathes mouth, then that starts, heartbeat starts. He's given a big bang, head, sans low. Then he becomes murchita. He becomes completely unconscious because of the severe pain what he is experiencing. That is the position of the living entity in this condition. Read the purport.
The word Krishna means with great difficulty. When the child comes out of the abdomen through the narrow passage, due to pressures, there the breathing system completely stops, and due to agony, the child loses his memory. Sometimes the trouble is so severe that the child comes out dead or almost dead. One can imagine what the pangs of birth are like. The child remains for 10 months in that horrible condition within the abdomen, and at the end of 10 months he is forcefully pushed out. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord points out that a person who is serious about advancement in spiritual consciousness should always consider the four pangs of birth, death, disease, and old age. The materialistic advances in many ways, but he is unable to stop these four principles of suffering inherent in material existence.
Patito bhuvatya shanmishraha vishthavuriva cheshtate ruro yati gate jnane viparitan gatim gata. He falls under down with so much of blood and some worms and he cries loudly. If he doesn't cry, he's beaten, so that he'll cry. And all the people around him, they are all, oh, happy, so nice, so sweet boy. You cry, they laugh, isn't it? That's how it is. You cry, they laugh. Roro eti gate jnane. Now, gate jnane, all the knowledge what we'd had in the previous, lost. Then, viparitam gatim gata. Viparitam gatim gataha. What was the state before he was delivered? He was born? Prayer. Now, viparitam. He attains the exact opposite state. What is it? Forgetfulness. Like sometimes it happens in childhood, some person is very much in bhakti. After some time, he gives it up, he forgets. But somehow, the little impressions which he got, that was helping, but now he forgot. So that's his condition now, that he is not able to remember what all he promised to the Lord. What was the promise which he did? Please get me out, I'll surrender to you. Parachandam na vidusha pushyamano janena sa anabhipretamāvanna pratyaktam anishvara. So when, what does the doctor do? What does the nurse? When the baby is coming, he is given to the parents. And the baby is crying. And these parents, they think, maybe the baby wants a toy. So they gave the toy. They don't know what he wants. That's it. Pushyamano janena saha na vidusha. Na vidusha means what? They don't understand what he wants. Pushyamanaha janena Saha anavipretam. He is put into some anavipretam, all kinds of undesirable circumstances. Apannaha pratyakyatam anishwaraha. Unable to refuse whatever is given to him, he falls into undesirable circumstances. Yeah. The 6 months old baby is very hot, and the mother puts jeans pant to him and some t-shirt to him with some Spider-Man on top of it. It's very hot. She likes, that is why she puts. And this baby is crying, yelling like. And then, baby, you want a cricket bat, small bat, take cricket bat, ball. Doesn't know what he wants. And he's crying more and more. They think that they're going to. Read the purport.
Within the abdomen of the mother, the nourishment of the child was being carried on by nature's own arrangement. The atmosphere within the abdomen was not at all pleasing, but as far as the child's feeding was concerned, it was being properly done by the laws of nature. But upon coming out of the abdomen, the child falls into different atmosphere. He wants to eat one thing, but something else is given to him, because no one knows his actual demand, and he cannot refuse the undesirables given to him. Sometimes the child cries for the mother's breast, but because the nurse thinks that it is due to pain within his stomach, he is crying. She supplies him some bitter medicines. The child does not want it, but he cannot refuse it. He is put in very awkward circumstances, and the suffering continues.
So the child is crying, crying, crying. Oh, they think this child has a stomach ache. So what we should give some medicine. But actually this child is hungry. And sometimes the child is crying and trying, oh, something like this. He has a stomach ache. They think it's hungry. They give milk, better you put the bottle inside. Shaito Suchi Paryanke Jantuhu Svedajadjuste Nesha Kanduye Nanganam Asantosha Chetane. So he is put on a bed which is full of insects, unclean place. So when the worms are biting him, you have to scratch, isn't it? He cannot scratch. He cannot sit, nor he can stand. That is the condition. Tu dantyamatvajam dhamsha mashkamat kunadaya rudantam pigatagyanam krimaya krimikam yatha. Like tu danti atmatajam dhamsa masaka mat kunadaya. Sometimes it so happens the big worms bite the small worms, mosquitoes, another bite, and these bugs bite the baby, and he starts crying. Ityevam shaishavam bhuktva dukkham paugandamevacha aladhavipsito jnanat idham anyushu sucharpita. So in this way he grows up and he comes to the so much of suffering in his babyhood. Then he comes to boyhood, paugandam. At that time he has desires. Alabdha vipsito ajnanat. When he has a desire, I want the cycle, and his desire is not fulfilled, then what happens? Manyu, he becomes very angry. And when he becomes angry, ajnanatidhya manyuhu sucharpya, he becomes suffers because of ignorance. Again, boyhood is full of suffering because every time there is a desire, it's not fulfilled. And so much of suffering. Sahadehena manena vardhamanena manyuna karoti vigraham kami kamnishu antyachatmana. So, anger. Sahadehena manena vardhamanena manyuna. So much of anger is there, along with the sahadehena manena, dehamanena, I am the body, you know my job, I am this body. And then karoti vigraham kami, he becomes full of desires. And what happens? Kamishu antya chatmanaha. And he fights with other people. So much of quarrel with other kamis, with other lusty people. You see how the children, they fight, quarrel, beating each other. You go to some school and then see when there's a classroom with a without teacher. Even bhutas will be surprised. Bhuta pretas will be surprised. What is kind of bhuta pretas will be surprised. When somebody told me that probably these are all materialistic children, but devotee children, I told them they are also devotee pretas. They find like anything, marpeet, pull in the shikha, and beating up each other. I went to some children program somewhere. So there was one boy, he just took the chapmala and then put on the fence. and people are chanting Hare Krishna, sending him back to God. What the beat back, put around like. So that age, like 3, 4-year-old till 10, 12, it's crazy about beating each other, pulling each other, tearing others' shirt, crazy. And leading to destruction. It leads to destruction. Kamishu antaya chatmanaha. Bhutai panchabir arabdhe teha deha udho sakrit aham mametya satgrahat karoti kumatir matim. So this foolish person, what he thinks, that this body, deha, dehi, abudho, one who doesn't know, he thinks that the body which is made up of bhutair panchabhir arabdhe, made up of 5 elements, he thinks in this concept. What is the concept? Aham mama iti asatgraha. Karoti kumatir matim. Karoti kumatir matim. What all he does, kumatihi, because of his bad intelligence, he just goes on giving trouble to others and suffering also. Next. Tadartham gurute karma yadbhaddo yati samsmritim yo nyuati dhat klesham avidya karma bandhana. So this tadartham kurute karma, for the sake of this body, tadartham kurute karma, he performs karma. Yadbhaddo yati samsmritim, by this he is going to be bound in the cycle of birth and death. Yaha anuyati dadat klesham. And this body, he is working hard to give happiness to the body, but he doesn't know it is the body which is giving misery to him. The body which gives misery. Kleshaha Avidya karma bandhanaha. And not only it gives misery to now, misery, this body is giving misery now, it actually, it continues your misery in this life and the next life also. And you are trying to give happiness to that thing which is giving you misery. That is your foolishness. Read the purport.
In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that one has to work to satisfy Yajna or Vishnu. For any work done without the purpose of satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a cause of bondage. In the conditioned state, a living entity accepting his body as himself forgets his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and acts on the interest of his body. He takes the body as himself, his bodily expansions as his kinsman, and the land from which his body is born as worshipable. In this way, he performs all sort of misconceived activities which lead to his perpetual bondage in repetition of birth and death in various species. In modern civilization, the so-called social, national and governmental leaders mislead people more and more under the bodily conception of life, with the result that all the leaders with their followers are gliding down to hellish conditions birth after birth. An example is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, Andha Yathander Upaniyamana. When a blind man leads several other blind men, the result is that all of them fall down in a ditch. This is actually happening. There are many leaders to lead the ignorant public, but because every one of them is bewildered by the bodily conception of life, there is no peace and prosperity in human society. So-called yogis who perform various bodily feats are also in the same category as such ignorant people, because the Hatha Yoga system is especially recommended for persons who are grossly implicated in the bodily conception. The conclusion is that as long as one is fixed in the bodily conception, he has to suffer birth and death.
So you give pleasure to the body which is giving you misery, not only now, in future also. Yad sadvepati punaha Shishnodara kritodhyamai astito ramate jantu tamo vishati purvavat. So, if the human being, yadi, asadbhir pati punaha, when you associate with asadbhir, then what happens? Punaha, again you go to tamo, tamas. Punaha, Shishnodara kritodhyamaihi, to satisfy your Krishna, udara, your genitals and your stomach. Then you go to hell as before. Astito ramade jantu tamo vishadi purvavat. We don't have to talk again because purvavat, previous chapter already been discussed. He gets punishment into hell. Again goes to lower species. In this way goes on. But on the other hand, if you associate with what? Satyam Shojam Daya Maunam Buddhi Shri Hirya Shakshama Shamodama Bhagascheti Yat Sangatyati Sankshayam. So from the association, from that kind of association, what is going to happen? Or what are destroyed? Satyam, Shaucham, Daya, Maunam, Buddhi, Shri, Hir, Yasha, Kshama, Shamo, Dama, Bhagas, Bhagya, Cheti, Yat Sangat, Yati Sankshayam. All the good qualities which are there, which you got, everything is destroyed just by association, like with bad association. Read the purport.
Those who are too addicted to sex life cannot understand the purpose of the absolute truth, nor can they be clean in their habits, not to mention showing mercy to others. They cannot remain grave and they have no interest in the ultimate goal of life. The ultimate goal of life is Krishna or Vishnu. But those who are addicted to sex life cannot understand that their ultimate interest is Krishna consciousness. Such people have no sense of decency, and even in public streets or public parks, they embrace each other just like cats and dogs and pass it off in the name of love making. Such unfortunate creatures can never become materially prosperous. Behavior like that of cats and dogs keeps them in the position of cats and dogs. They cannot improve any material condition, not to speak of becoming famous. Such foolish persons may even make a show of so called yoga, but they are unable to control the senses and mind, which is the real purpose of yoga practice. Such people can have no opulence in their lives. In a word, they are very unfortunate.
Next. Teshvashanteshu mudeshu sangam na kuryachoseshu yoshit krida mrugeshu cha. So one should not associate with fools who are breast of knowledge and self-realization, who is no more than a dancing dog in the hands of women. Read the purport.
The restriction of association with such foolish persons is specially meant for those who are in the line of advancement in Krishna consciousness. Advancement in Krishna consciousness involves developing the qualities of truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, gravity, intelligence and spiritual knowledge, simplicity, material opulence, fame, forgiveness, and control of the mind and the senses. All these qualities are to be manifested with the progress of Krishna consciousness. But if one associates with the Shudra, a foolish person who is like a dancing dog in the hands of a woman, then he cannot make any progress. Lord Chaitanya has advised that any person who is engaged in Krishna consciousness and who desires to pass beyond material nescience must not associate himself with women or with persons interested in material enjoyment. For a person seeking advancement in Krishna consciousness, such association is more dangerous than suicide.
Next.
Kind of verses, they are addressed towards a man.
Yeah.
Like a man should not do this and like
Scriptures are addressing men.
Yes. So this is Bhagavatam was told to Parikshit Maharaj. Is it the reason or some other deep reasons are there?
It's addressed to Devahuti. Generally, the scriptures are meant for men. I know somebody will hang me for this. Because by nature, women, they are cannot be completely logical. Even though they know logic, but their emotions overpower them. That is why scriptures are meant for, basically for men. That doesn't mean women should not study, they should also study. And they should understand that the reality and save the men. Even the initiations were originally given to men only, and by serving, the wife will get the benefit of this thing. So in the age of Kali, man is no man and woman is no woman now these days. Everybody is animal. So you give to everyone. Now many times the question is, why only is addressed to men, not to women? Because anyhow you cannot understand. If you understand, then you don't apply. So better tell men. That's the thing. Okay. Na tatasya bhaven moho pandaschanya prasangata yoshit sangad yatha pumso yatha tatsangi sangataha. So the na tatas bhaven moho. Among all the different kinds of moha, the greatest moha is what? Attachment to woman. And among attachment to woman, attachment to a person who is attached to woman is yatata sangi sangataha, is more dangerous. Like if you are walking on the street, there is some woman, it doesn't matter. But if you see somebody who is associating with a woman, then that is more dangerous, because that is more dangerous. See the purport.
Attachment to woman is so contaminating that one becomes attached to the condition of the material life, not only by the association of woman, but by the contaminated association of a person who are too attached to them. There are many reasons for our conditional life in the material world, but the topmost of all such causes is the association of woman, as will be confirmed in the following stanzas. In Kali Yuga, the association with the woman is very strong. In every step of life, there is association with woman. If a person goes to purchase something, the advertisements are full of pictures of women. The psychological attraction, physiological attraction for women is very great, and therefore people are very slack in spiritual understanding. The Vedic civilization, being based on spiritual understanding, arranges association with a woman very cautiously. Out of the four social divisions, the members of the first order, namely Brahmacharya, the third order, Vanprastha, and the fourth order, Sannyas, are strictly prohibited from female association. Only in one order, the householder, is there license to mix with a woman under restricted conditions. In other words, attraction for woman's association is the cause of the material conditional life, and anyone interested in being freed from this conditional life must detach himself from the association with the woman.
Prajapatis swam duhitaram drishtva tadrupadarshita rohit bhutam sonudbhat riksha rupi hatatrapaha. So it's so dangerous. What is the example given? Prajapati Swam Duhitaram. Brahma himself, he saw his own daughter, Drishtva Tadrupa Darshitaha. Tadrupa, seeing her form which is very beautiful, Darshitaha became very bewildered. Rohit Bhutam Saha Anmadhavat Riksharupi Hatatrapaha. So when he ran behind her, so what happened? Who took what form? Brahma took the form of a stag, and she took the form of a deer. Read the purport.
Lord Brahma's being captivated by the charms of his daughter and Lord Shiva's being captivated by the Mohini form of the Lord are specific instances which instruct us that even great demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva, what to speak of the ordinary conditioned soul, are captivated by the beauty of woman. Therefore, everyone is advised that one should not freely mix even with one's daughter or with one's mother or with one's sister, because the senses are so strong that When one becomes infatuated, the senses do not consider the relationship of daughter, mother, or sister. It is best, therefore, to practice controlling the senses by performing Bhakti Yoga, engaging in the service of Madan Mohana. Lord Krishna's name is Madan Mohana, for he can subdue the god Cupid or lust. Only by engaging in the service of Madan Mohana can one curb the dictates of Madana, Cupid. Otherwise, attempts to control the senses will fail.
Tat srishta srishta srishteshu konnadikanditadhipuman rishim narayanam rite yoshim mayyeha mayaya. So many living entities are created by Brahma. Who are they? They are Puman, Rishim, and all the Jantus. None of them except Rite, except Rishim Narayanam, Naranarayana Rishi, except Narayana, Naranarayana Rishi. Nobody can Yoshim Mayyeha Mayaya. Nobody can conquer it. So read the purport.
The first living creature is Brahma himself, and from him were created sages like Merichi, who in their turn created Kashyapa Muni and others. And Kashyapa Muni and the Manus created different demigods and human beings, etc. But there is none among them who is not attracted by the spell of Maya in the form of woman. Throughout the entire material world, beginning from Brahma down to the small, insignificant creature like the ant, everyone is attracted by sex life. That is the basic principle of this material world. Lord Brahma's being attracted by his daughter is the vivid example that no one is exempt from sexual attraction to women. Therefore, woman is the wonderful creature of Maya to keep the conditioned souls in cycles.
Woman, therefore, is a wonderful creation of Maya to keep conditioned souls in cycles. So then the demand comes from the feminists. You have to change Srila Prabhupada's books. It is not contemporary. Balam me pashya mayaya stri maya janino disham ya karoti pada krantan bhrui jhumbhena kevalam. Just see the power of Maya. Balam me pashya. See the balam or power of my Maya in the form of Stri Maya Jaino Disham. So you remember, I think I told or not. Once one boy called me, who is a professor in this college. He told, Rohit, can you come for tomorrow? We have a seminar I had to address, but I'm very nervous. Can you come and then speak? Because the topic is very, very difficult for me, very controversial. So the topic was women empowerment. I told, you will speak, but I'll give the points to you. You start the program saying that this women empowerment, this topic itself is a nonsense topic. Write down a point, right? Second point. So the word women empowerment is an insult to women. Third point. Why it is an insult? Because they are the embodiment of power. Sri Maya, Pashya Balam. The embodiment of power. So, how they are embodiment of power? Just imagine the world without women. All the men will be sitting under one tree and with only copy, nothing else. Just imagine, where do they get the motivation to work so hard? From the powerhouse called woman. So who is empowering whom? Women are empowering men. And it's all because the modern feministic idea that women should be empowered. But the Vedic understanding is women are personification of power who rule the men and motivate the men to work hard for them. So I thought I gave the points to now expand. He really worked hard, contemplated a lot. The next day I was in a meeting and he was calling. Almost 20 missed calls were there. I thought something wrong happened or what. Then I called him back. Told Prabhu, he was in ecstasy. Told Prabhu, for every line I spoke, there's Taliya baj rahi thi. Isn't it? So this is what it is. The power. Ya karoti padakrantam. Just by the movement of the eyebrows. Brujjumbena kevalam. Just by brujjumbena kevalam. Yat karoti padakrantam. So they all come and fall at the feet. Just right, fall, then fall. All the whole world was controlled. All the wars happened in the Europe and Greece. It's all just women behind it. That's all. I just want him. I want his head, and he goes and tries to fight. It's crazy things. Just completely controlled by. Read the purport.
There are many instances in the history of the world of a great conquerors being captivated by the charms of a Cleopatra. One has to study the captivating potency of woman and man's attraction for that potency. From what source was this generated? According to Vedanta Sutra, we can understand that everything is generated from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is enunciated there, Janmadyasya Yataha. This means that the Supreme Personality of Godhead or the Supreme Person, Brahman, the Absolute Truth, is the source from whom everything emanates. The captivating power of woman and man's susceptibility to such attraction must also exist in the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the spiritual world and must be represented in the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. The Lord is the Supreme Person, the Supreme Male. As a common male wants to be attracted by a female, that propensity similarly exists in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He also wants to be attracted by the beautiful features of a woman. Now the question is, if he wants to be captivated by such womanly attraction, would he be attracted by any material woman? It is not possible. Even persons who are in this material existence can give up womanly attraction if they are attracted by the Supreme Brahman. Such was the case with Haridas Thakur. A beautiful prostitute tried to attract him in the dead of night, but since he was situated in devotional service, in transcendental love of Godhead, Haridas Thakur was not captivated. Rather, he turned the prostitute into a great devotee by his transcendental association. This material attraction, therefore, certainly cannot attract the Supreme Lord. When he wants to be attracted by a woman, he has to create such a woman from his own energy. That woman is Radharani. It is explained by the Goswamis that Radharani is manifestation of the pleasure potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When the Supreme Lord wants to derive transcendental pleasure, he has to create a woman from his internal potency. Thus, the tendency to be attracted by womanly beauty is natural because it exists in the spiritual world. In the material world, it is reflected pervertedly, and therefore there are so many inaverities. Instead of being attracted by material beauty, if one is accustomed to be attracted by the beauty of Radharani and Krishna, then the statement of Bhagavad Gita, Param Drishtva Nivartate, holds true. When one is attracted by the transcendental beauty of Radha and Krishna, He is no longer attracted by material feminine beauty. That is the special significance of Radha Krishna worship that is testified to by Yamunacharya. He says, since I have become attracted by the beauty of Radha and Krishna, when there is attraction for a woman or a memory of sex life with a woman, I at once spit on it and my face turns in disgust. When we are attracted by Madan Mohan and the beauty of Krishna and his consorts, then the shackles of conditioned life, namely the beauty of a material woman, cannot attract us.
So, the philosophy is very clear. You want to get out of attraction of this woman in this world, you're attracted to the pastimes of Radha Krishna, Rasa Panchadhyay, and all the glorifications of Radha Krishna pastimes. Sangam na kuryat pramada sujatu yogasya param paramam marurukshav matsevaya pratilaptamatmalabho vadanti yanerayadраram asya. Sangam na kuryat pramada sujatu yogasya param paramam marurukshaha. If you want to cross over the culmination of yoga, one should not do what one should not do. Sangam na kuryat pramadeshu pramadasu. Pramada means Mada means what? Pramada. Mad. So, how are they addressed like this? Mad. How can they address woman like mad? So, but it's like that. Address what you can do. Bhagavatam. Yogasya param paramam marurukshuhu matsevaya pratilabdhatmalabho vadanti naniraya dvaramasya. So one should never associate with woman, because the scriptures declare, or for such a woman is declared in the scriptures as what? Yeah, you should print this in the wedding card. You print this verse in the wedding card. If somebody asks you, hey, I'm getting married, why don't you give a shloka to put in the wedding card? Take this. Read the purport.
The culmination of yoga is full Krishna consciousness. This is affirmed in Bhagavad Gita. A person who is always thinking of Krishna in devotion is the topmost of all yogis. And in the second chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is also stated that when one becomes freed from material contamination by rendering devotional service unto the Supreme Personality Godhead, he can at that time understand the science of God. Here the word pratilabdhatma labhaha occurs. Atma means self and labha means gain. Generally, conditioned souls have lost their atma or self. But those who are transcendentalists have realized the self. It is directed that such a self-realized soul who aspires to the topmost platform of yogic perfection should not associate with young women. In the modern age, however, there are so many rascals who recommend that while one has genitals, he should enjoy women as much as he likes, and at the same time he can become a yogi. In no standard yoga system is the association of women accepted. It is clearly stated here that the association of women is the gateway to hellish life. The association of women is very much restricted in the Vedic civilization. Out of the 4 social divisions, the Brahmachari, Vanaprastha and Sannyasi, 3 orders, are strictly prohibited from the association of women. Only the Grihasthas or householders are given license to have an intimate relationship with a woman. and that relationship is also restricted for begetting nice children. If, however, one wants to stick to continued existence in the material world, he may indulge in female association unrestrictedly.
So very powerful verses. Yopayati shanirmaya yoshitteva nirmita tam ikshatatmanu mrityam trinay kupam iva vratam. So what is Maya? For all practical purposes, Maya means woman. That is what is mentioned here. Yopayati shanir Maya yoshideva vinirmita. Who created this woman? Woman created by Lord. Who is she? Huh? Representation of Maya. Woman is who is he? Is representation of Maya. I was once in Vrindavan Yatra, we went to Kamevan. There that Bhojan Thali is there, no? That place. There's one old lady there. She sings nice bhajans and explains the entire thing. And there's one sadhu also there. Local Brahmin maybe. So when everybody gave some offerings, the Bhojan Thali, somebody 50 rupees, 100 rupees like that. So this person was grabbing all the money. So then she told, साधु बन के इतने माया में हो तुम, तो मैं तो माया में हूँ, तुम तो साक्षात माया हो. They were having their own. So then she told him, इसलिए मेरी बात सुनो, छोड़ दो पैसा. So, Yopayati sharir maya yoshit deva vinirmita tam ikshitatmano mrutyum. So now, tame mrutyum trinaihi kupam iva vratam. So one who accepts Maya, accepting service, know that this is the way for death. Way for death. And we are walking. Nice, wonderful grass is there. Oh, you find it's grass, but actually, what is there? Kupam. Tranaihi kupam ivavratam. There is a big well and it is covered by grass. You think, nice grass, let me put my feet there and hard. Yeah. You want to do some research? What is Maya for women? Very difficult to explain. Very difficult to explain. Because you are not woman. You go and ask them, they'll explain to you. What is Maya for woman? Only woman can explain. It's all 9 times more. The suffering is 9 times more. And that's how, so miserable. That is why if at all you have any connection with women, it's only to pity them, that's all. Very pitiable condition. Very miserable condition. Very miserable. Just cannot imagine how much misery is the experience. Nobody can, no man can understand how much misery they experience because of the enviousness which they have, the anger which they have, the restlessness which they have. Very difficult. When do a jiva get a body of a woman? The jiva's lust, anger, greed, especially enviousness, reaches to such a voltage that man's body cannot tolerate that. So then you are given a. So in this way, that is a body and the mind which has lot of tolerance. So if they exhibit the word tolerance or exhibit this quality of tolerance, they become mother. So if you take away the motherhood, that means you are taking away tolerance. Then that whole body and the psychology becomes a atom bomb, a nuclear reactor which has no control. And that's the reason the entire Vedic culture, it right from their birth, they have been addressed as mother. Right from the birth. I was a small kid playing around. My grandfather called my cousin. She's a girl. She's just 5-year-old, that's all. In our Telugu language, he called her. Her name is Sita. He would just say, Sita, come here. He could have told. But the one sentence which he spoke, still I remember that sentence. From that time I was wondering, this 5-year-old kid, why grandmother is addressing her like this? So first he said, Amma, Sitamma, Talli, Itu Rama. 4 times the word mother, 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 brother is used. First he addressed Rama, then she looked. And to confirm that I am calling you only, so he addressed her as Sita Amma. Her name is Sita. You can just say Sita, Sita. And then, okay, what do you want to tell? Then he told, hey Talli, you are my mother. Your mother. Come here, into Rama. So Talli also refers to mother. So just see how the Vedic culture is. It is not that he is addressing her as mother, rather he is training her, you are mother, you are mother, you are mother, you are mother, you are mother. So that's how it is. Even a 5-year-old, 6-year-old girl, she is trained to treat a 15-year-old brother, maybe 10-year-old brother as mother. In small get-togethers, sometimes the small little girl would get upset for something, and anyway, they get upset for something. And then the mother would tell, or the elderly ladies would tell, you are his mother, na? Then immediately she should give up. Yes, I am mother. So that body is designed to tolerate the internal agitations, 9 times lust, greed, envy. So if they manifest this word of tolerance, which is the quality of a mother, then they can progress in devotional service, and that not only can progress, they can be the hita, they can be beneficial to the world. Otherwise, like a nuclear reactor which is having all the parameters proper, it can create an energy which can benefit the world. If the nuclear reactor doesn't have that control, then it can destroy the entire world. So that's the condition. So Papa Yona has so much of misery, so much of struggle, just cannot even imagine. Because so many, you just walk, what people are thinking about me, and it comes to your mind, somebody is happy or not. It's just agitation, constant agitation. Just cannot be peaceful. So, and very difficult to explain because you are not a woman and I am not a woman. So, very difficult to explain. But the philosophy behind that is this. 9 times. So, read the purport. Yeah. Yeah. You have to speak about it openly. Many of us are very afraid to speak of Vedic culture because we are ISKCON devotees. Don't talk all these things. Somebody will be upset on top. Why? Srila Prabhupada's mission was to create a revolution, a cultural revolution. And what does it mean, a cultural revolution? Srila Prabhupada went to the West. You see those pictures of Sankirtan, Prabhupada, and at that time. They are all Devis. They were, you can see the way they put the saris and put the, isn't it? That's what Prabhupada wanted. He went to the West and then he taught them to put dhoti and sari and then live a Vedic lifestyle. And if Srila Prabhupada wanted to accommodate them by giving some Western culture to them, because it would be difficult for them to give up the Western culture, then why did he do all this? He taught them to make rice, dal, sabji, and isn't it? Why did he do that? He could have allowed them to eat pizza, burger, and everything as it is going on. Just offer anything to Krishna, and you can wear whatever your chaddi and T-shirt, and then be happy. You can chant Hare Krishna. He did not say that. He did not do that practically. So he wanted a cultural revolution. So you had to create a cultural revolution. You had to. There is no way. A man and woman, they get married. A boy and a girl get married, not to become husband-wife, to become father-mother. All the problem starts with this. Once they get married, 9th month, child should be delivered. 10th month, whatever it is. They should beget a child. And these days, planning, what is this nonsense, planning and all? All problems start because they're husband-wife. So once the child is there, then he will take care of them. What? All sense enjoyment is gone. All everything is gone over. So that is how it is. It's nature, it's Prakriti. So when you don't want children, you still want to get married, then you are husband-wife. So that lady thinks I am a wife. She doesn't think I am a mother. So then gone. Nuclear reactor, divorce. Got it? Okay, read the purport.
Sometimes it happens that a rejected well is covered by grass, and an unwary traveler who does not know the existence of the well falls down and its death is assured. Similarly, association with a woman begins when one accepts service from her. Because woman is especially created by the Lord to give service to man. By accepting her service, a man is entrapped. If he is not intelligent enough to know that she is the gateway to hellish life, he may indulge in her association very liberally. This is restricted for those who aspire to ascend to the transcendental platform. Even 50 years ago in Hindu society, such association was restricted. A wife could not see her husband during the daytime. Householders even had different residential quarters. The internal quarters for a residential house were for the woman, and the external quarters were for the man. Acceptance of service rendered by a woman may appear very pleasing, but one should be very cautious in accepting such service, because it is clearly said that woman is the gateway to death or forgetfulness of oneself. She blocks the path of spiritual realization.
Yam manyate vatim mohan manmayam rishabhayatim Stritvam stri sangataha prapto vittavatyagrihapradam. So now somebody gets a woman's body. Why? Because of Manmayam Rishabhayatim Stritvam Stri Sangata Prapto. Why do when somebody gets Stritvam, Stri's body? Because Stri Sangatha Prapto. Vittavatya Griha Pradam. So then he foolishly looks upon Maya in the form of man. So same thing applies. Attachment for the man to woman and woman to man. And he thinks, oh, she's going to give me wealth, progeny, house, and all the material assets. So in this way there is a constant knot between them. Read the purport.
From this verse, it appears that a woman is also supposed to have been a man in his or her previous life. And due to his attachment to his wife, he now has the body of woman. Bhagavad Gita confirms this. A man gets his next life's birth according to what he thinks of at the time of death. If someone is too attached to his wife, naturally he thinks of his wife at the time of death, and his next life he takes the body of woman. Similarly, if a woman thinks of her husband at the time of death, naturally she gets the body of a man in the next life. In the Hindu scriptures, therefore, women's chastity and devotion to man is greatly emphasized. A woman's attachment to her husband may elevate her to the body of a man in her next life, but a man's attachment to woman will degrade him, and in his next life he will get the body of a woman. We should always remember, as it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, that both the gross and subtle material bodies are dresses. They are the shirt and the coat of the living entity. To be either a woman or a man only involves one's bodily dress. The soul in nature is actually the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord. Every living entity being classified as energy is supposed to be originally a woman, or one who is enjoyed. In the body of a man, there is a greater opportunity to get out of the material clutches. There is less opportunity in the body of a woman. In this verse, it is indicated that the body of a man should not be misused through forming an attachment to women and thus becoming too entangled in material enjoyment, which will result in getting the body of a woman in the next life. A woman is generally fond of household prosperity, ornaments, furniture, and dresses. She is satisfied when the husband supplies all these things sufficiently. The relationship between man and woman is very complicated, but the substance is that one who aspires to ascend the transcendental stage of spiritual realization should be very careful in accepting the association of a woman. In the stage of Krishna consciousness, however, such restriction of association may be slackened, because if a man's and women's attachment is not to each other but to Krishna, then both of them are equally eligible to get out of the material entanglement and reach the abode of Krishna. As it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, anyone who seriously takes to Krishna consciousness, whether in the lowest species of life or a woman, or of the less intelligent classes such as mercantile or laborer class, will go back home, back to Godhead, and reach the abode of Krishna. A man should not be attached to a woman, nor should a woman be attached to a man. Both man and woman should be attached to the service of the Lord. Then there is a possibility of liberation from the material entanglement for both of them.
So a man should be attached to whom? A woman should be attached to? to the husband. So, technically, Srila Prabhupada says one should be attached to Krishna, but through husband. Otherwise, utpate eva kalpate. You have this these days called congregation, the youth, what IGF and IVF girls, IGF, and when the boys get married to these IGF girls, their life is a hell. Because now they have a house. This boy is software engineer, was earning 2.5 lakhs a month, and she made him purchase a 2 crore flat. He is paying 1.5 lakhs a month, and he's working hard. He comes home and he sees it's all dirty, no food, and he calls, "Hey, where is the prasadam?" She says, "I am serving my Guru Maharaj. I cannot come for the next 2 days. You cook yourself." Because she is doing pure devotional service now. It's a train in IGF. And he says, "You're my wife." No. Who said? You're not my husband. Krishna is my husband. Then why did he get married to you? Because Guru Maharaj told. All these things will come. He goes crazy. Then he remembers the Gaurang Sabha camp and in one sense he'll have good realization for making a wrong decision. But still that is not the system, isn't it? That is not the system. Total crazy. Divorce. So the woman should be attached to Krishna through the husband. That's the system. Yeah.
How does the concept of 7 births of husband and wife?
Yeah, 7 जन्मों का रिश्ता है ना. अरे 7 दिन का हो बड़ी बात है. 7 जन्म तो बोले 7 दिन भी टिकता नहीं आजकल. It is a system that if you are conducting your life according to the Vedic system, which the goal of the Vedic system is to get liberation. So now each one of you help each other so that in this life itself you get liberated. But if you cannot, if it was not possible somehow, another life, continue. So that like a child gives an examination to 10th standard, then worked hard very nicely, but somehow failed. Then another chance. Then another chance. 7 chances. So it's called 7 chances to get out of separation, isn't it? So each one helped each other. So in this way 7 chances are given. That is called Sab Janmonka. It is not that the 7 lifetimes we are to be here only. These are 7 chances. 7 chances has nothing to do with 7 Janma. Next life also we'll get married and we'll stay together. One life itself they are not able to stay. 7 lives, just imagine. Okay. Next. Yeah. Yes.
And describing this world is misery is a secondary thing. Like in that way, this whole chapter or this whole section, is it the main thing is to as a word of caution, or is it literally it should be taken in that sense? Because why I'm asking is, like some of the friends with whom we stayed together in ashram also earlier days, they get married, and sometimes when they meet, they actually say, it's not as what we were taught, no? It's quite good. I mean, they literally say.
Definitely a self-aware soul.
They
or,
said,
or he is reading the script of his wife. That is what it is now. When you ask somebody lying in ICU, 10 tubes going inside, 10 tubes coming outside. Then one person comes and asks, Hasmukh bhai, kem cho? He's been trained to do that, isn't it? So you're just meeting him once or twice, isn't it? You take him for a yatra, then you'll come to know. ये क्या मजा है यात्रा में? ये क्या मजा है? गरम गरम खाने को मिला. He'll tell that, for sure. It's not as bad as we discussed. It's only a little bit bad, but it's bad. It was not as bad. Because he cannot, it's ego, na? He cannot tell it, so it's very bad. So it's ego, how can he tell that? So that is what it is. Then after some time you feed him nicely, nice prasadam, then after some time he'll reveal the secrets of the horror. When I joined 97 only joined, one congregation devotee, the Sunday program, and then after that, very senior congregation devotee. He caught hold of my hand and then took me to one corner and told, Babu, मैं आपसे एक विनती करता हूँ. Then I told, what is he telling? हमेशा यही कपड़े में रहना. यही कपड़े रहना. आनंद में यही कपड़े में रहना, आनंद में कीर्तन करना, नाचना. देखो, मैं अपने हृदय से बताऊंगा हमारी क्या स्थिति मालूम है. मैं देख रहा हूँ कौन सा दीवार में मैं अपना सर पीटूं. कौन सा दीवार में अपना सर पीटूं. So actually, grahasthas are supposed to give the brahmachari classes. Genuine, sincere sadhakas. Actually, this should be given by them, not mine. Because they have first-hand experience. What you can discuss. And that is why he's telling it is not the same. Because at that time, neither you had experience, neither he experienced. Now he has experience. That is why it's not the same. It is not as bad as we discussed. It is more bad actually. Got it? Okay. We read the purport for it. 42? Over? Purport over? We had to read. Tam atmano vijaniyat patyapatya grihatmakam daivopasaditam mrutyam mrigyorgayayan yatha. So what she should consider? Patya grihatmakam daivopasaditam mrutyum. A woman should consider her husband, house, children, and arrangements of the external energy of the Lord for death. And how example? Mrigayor gayanam yatha. Mrigayor, like a hunter would, he plays the flute. Then all the deers will run, and when they come, he shoots. Read the purport.
In this instruction of Lord Kapila Dev, it is explained that not only is Is woman the gateway to hell for man, but man is also the gateway to hell for woman? It is a question of attachment. A man becomes attached to a woman because of her service, her beauty, and many other assets, and similarly, a woman becomes attached to a man for his giving her a nice place to live, ornament, dress, and children. It is a question of attachment for one another. As long as either is attached to other for such material enjoyment, the woman is dangerous for man, and the man is dangerous for the woman. But if the attachment is transferred to Krishna, both of them become Krishna conscious, and then marriage is very nice. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore recommends anasaktasya vishayan yathartham upanyunjita nirbandha Krishna sambandhi yukta vairagyam uchyate. Man and woman should live together as householder in relationship with Krishna only for the purpose of discharging duties in the service of Krishna. Engage the children, engage the wife, and engage the husband, all in Krishna conscious duties, and then all these bodily or material attachment will disappear. Since the via medium is Krishna, the consciousness is pure and there is no possibility of degradation at any time.
Yukta Vairagya. That's what you can do. Tehena jiva bhutena lokam manuvrajan munjana yeva karmani karotya viratam puman. So, dehena jiva bhutena lokal. So, due to a particular kind of body, the living entity wanders from lokal, lokam anuvrajan, goes from one loka to another loka. Because of what? Karmani, bhunjana eva karmani. Because of to eat, bhunjana means experience the karma. So, karot aviratam puman. So, in this way, he goes on continuing his mental existence, life after life. Read the purport.
When the living entity is engaged in the material body, he is called Jiva Bhuta. And when he is free from the material body, he is called Brahma Bhuta. By changing his material body birth after birth, he travels not only in the different species of life, but also from one planet to another. Lord Chaitanya says that the living entities bound up by fruitive activities are wandering in this way throughout the whole universe. And if by some chance or by pious activities they get in touch with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna, then they get the seed of devotional service. After getting this seed, if one sows it within his heart and pours water on it by hearing and chanting, the seed grows into a big plant, and there are fruits and flowers which the living entity can enjoy, even in this material world. That is called Brahma Bhuta stage. In his designated condition, a living entity is called materialistic, and upon being freed from all designations, when he is fully Krishna conscious, engaged in devotional service, he is called liberated. Unless one gets the opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of the Lord, there is no possibility of one's liberation from the cycle of birth and death in the different species of life and through the different grades of planets.
Okay. Next. Jivo hi asya go deho bhutendriya manomaya tannidodhosya maranam avirbhavastu sambhava. So it goes to another body. Jivo hi asyanugo deho anugaha devaha dehaha gets a suitable body which is having a covering, grass elements and mind, senses, maya, And Nirodha, after destruction, again, what happens? He gets another body. So when the reaction of this particular activity comes to an end, that is called death. And when the particular type of reaction begins, that is called birth. So birth and death are nothing but karma. When the prarabdha karma gets over, then he gets, that's called death. And because while experiencing the prarabdha karma, he does another kind of karma, which are kutam, bijam, aprarabdha, kutam, bijam. Again, they become prarabdha. So in this way, it goes on. It goes on. Read the purport.
From time immemorial, the living entity travels in the different species of life and the different planets, almost perpetually. This process is explained in Bhagavad Gita, Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani Yantra Rudhani Mayaya. Under the spell of Maya, everyone is wandering throughout the universe on the carriage of the body offered by the material energy. Materialistic life involves a series of actions and reactions. It is a long film spool of actions and reaction. And one lifespan is just a flash in such a reactionary show. When a child is born, it is to be understood that his particular type of body is the beginning of another set of activities. And when an old man dies, it is to be understood that one set of reactionary activities is finished. We can see that because of different reactionary activities, one man is born in a rich family and another is born in poor family, although both of them are born in the same place, at the same moment and in the same atmosphere. One who is carrying pious activities with him is given a chance to take his birth in rich or pious family, and one who is carrying impious activity is given a chance to take birth in lower, poor family. The change of body means a change to a different field of activities. Similarly, when the body of the boy changes into that of a youth, the boyish activity changes into youthful activities. It is clear that a particular body is given to the living entity for a particular type of activity. This process is going on perpetually, from a time which is impossible to trace out. Vaishnava poet therefore says, Anadhi karma phale, which means that these actions and reactions of one's activity cannot be traced, for they may even continue from the last millennium of Brahma's birth to the next millennium. We have seen the example of the life of Narada Muni. In one millennium, he was the son of maid servant, and in the next millennium, he became a great sage.
So, asyamano devaha, deho, this jiva is sometimes on earth, sometimes go to Swarga. Coming from Swarga, again he takes birth in this earth. Then somebody may say, what is this, birth and death? Birth and death are nothing much, but the subtle body leaving the grass body, death. Subtle body entering another grass body, that is called birth. And all these things are according to karma. That's called birth and death. So, this is the subject matter. Next. We have two verses together, that is 45 and 46. Dravyopalabdhi sanasya dravyekakshayogyata yatha tat panchatvamaham manad utpattir dravya darshanam yatha kshano dravya vayo darshana yogyata yatha tadaiva chakshusho drashtur drashtva yogyata nyayoho. So now there is example given. When the eyes lose their power to see color or form due to morbid afflictions of the optic nerve, the sense of sight becomes deadened. The living entity who is a seer, both the eyes and the sight, loses its vision, power of vision. In the same way, when the physical body, the place where perception of objects occur, is rendered incapable of perceiving, that is known as death. When one begins to view the physical body as one's own self, that is called birth. So when your physical body is not able to see or conduct its functions, then you leave. That is called death. And when you accept another body and think, I am this body, that is called birth. So an example is given, that's all. Read the purport.
When one says, I see, this means that he sees with his eyes or with his spectacles. He sees with the instrument of sight. If the instrument of sight is broken or becomes diseased or incapable of acting, then he, as the seer is broken, as the seer also ceases to act. Similarly, in this material body, at the present moment, the living soul is acting, and when the material body, due to its incapability to function, ceases, he also ceases to perform his reactionary activities. When one's instrument of action is broken and cannot function, that is called death. Again, when one gets a new instrument for action, that is called birth. The process of birth and death is going on at every moment by constant bodily change. The final change is called death, and acceptance of a new body is called birth. That is the solution to the question of birth and death. Actually, the living entity has neither birth nor death, but is eternal, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Na hanyate hanyamane sarire. Bhagavad Gita 2.20. The living entity never dies even after the death or in annihilation of this material body.
So birth and death are actually not for the soul. It is only perception, experience that I am born. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va bhuyajut tajo nitya shashvatam purano hanyate hanyamane sharire. So all the experiences, misery or happiness or even birth and death is not pertaining to the soul. The soul never dies, but it only perceives because of ignorance. That I am this body. It is only perception. Next. Tasman karya santrasu na karpanyam na sambhamaha buddha jiva gatim driro mukta sangaschare diha. Tasman na karaya santrasu na karpanyam na sambramaha buddha jiva gatim dhiro mukta sangaschare diha. There is no death, nor there is no birth nor death. So that is why one should not be na tasman na karyaha santrasaha, na santrasaha. One should not be santrasa. Why be affected? Because you are not going to die. Neither you should be na sambramaha, na karpanyam na sambhava. Neither be very enthusiastic about enjoying, or neither be distracted by the suffering. Buddha jivagatim dhiraha. No. Dhira should know. What he should know? The goal of jivagatim. Dhira should know jivagati. What is the goal of life? Mukta sangaschare diha. Use your intelligence and know the goal of life. And then move in this world. Mukta sangaha chared. You live in this world, how? Mukta sangha, without any attachment. So, once you know that neither death, you are neither going to die, nor you are going to take birth. So then you are liberated soul, even though you are living in this world. Read the purport.
A sane person who has understood the philosophy of life and death is very upset upon hearing the horrible, hellish condition of life in the womb of the mother or outside of the mother. But one has to make a solution to the problems of life. A sane man should understand the miserable condition of this mortal body. Without being unnecessarily upset, he should try to find out if there is a remedy. The remedical measures can be understood when one associates with persons who are liberated. It must be understood who is actually liberated. The liberated person is described in Bhagavad Gita, one who engages in uninterrupted devotional service to the Lord, having surpassed the stringent laws of material nature, is understood to be situated in Brahman. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is beyond the material creation. It is admitted even by impersonalists like Shankaracharya that Narayan is transcendental to the material creation. As such, when one actually engages in the service of the Lord in various forms, either Narayan or Radha, Krishna or Sitaram, he is understood to be on the platform of liberation. The Bhagavatam also confirms that liberation means to be situated in one's constitutional position. Since a living entity is eternally the servitor of the Supreme Lord, when one seriously and sincerely engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he is situated in the position of liberation. One should try to associate with the liberated person, and then the problems of life, namely birth and death, can be solved. While discharging devotional service in full Krishna consciousness, one should not be miserly. He should not unnecessarily show that he has renounced this world. Actually, renunciation is not possible. If one renounces his palatial building and goes to a forest, there is actually no renunciation, for the palatial building is the property of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the forest is also the property of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If he changes from one property to another, that does not mean that he renounces. He was never the proprietor of either the palace or the forest. Renunciation necessitates renouncing the false understanding that one can lord it over material nature. When one renounces this false attitude and renounces the positive position that he is also God, that is real renunciation. Otherwise, there is no meaning of renunciation. Rupa Goswami advises that if one renounces anything which could be applied in the service of the Lord and does not use it for that purpose, that is called Phalgu Vairagya, insufficient or false renunciation. Everything belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, therefore everything can be engaged in the service of the Lord. Nothing should be used for one's sense gratification. That is the real renunciation. Nor should one unnecessarily increase the necessities of the body. We should be satisfied with whatever is offered and supplied by Krishna without much personal endeavor. We should spend our time executing devotional service in Krishna consciousness. That is the solution to the problems of life and death.
Now, Samyak Darshanaya Buddhya Yoga Vairagya Yuktaya Maya Virachite Loke Charenasya Kalevaram. Samyak Darshanaya Buddhya, by use of your discrimination. Samyak Darshanaha, what do you get? A very clear vision, endowed with the right vision. Yoga Vairagya Yuktaya, by yoga, devotion, and Vairagya Yuktaya, pessimistic active attitude towards material identity. Vairagya Yuktaya. Maya Virachite Loke Charen Nyasya Kalevaram. You go around this world by how? By one should regulate his body to this illusory world through reason. Maya Virachite Loke Charenyasya Kalevaram. Charen means what? One should move around without being so much concerned about his body. Thus one can be unconcerned with the material world. Unconcerned. Be callous, unconcerned. Just become indifferent to this world. That is called Vairagya. So that is the conclusion of this particular chapter. Now, in the 30th chapter, the subject was tamas. That means ignorance in ignorant life. Now, passion, ignorance in passion, or passion in ignorance. The ignorance in ignorance. Now it's ignorance, passion in ignorance. Now, last one is, next is goodness, dharmika, dharmartha kam moksha. I am having Vedic ignorance. You all have non-Vedic ignorance. So that is the difference between these chapters. Sattva, Rajas, Tama. Now we talk about Sattvic ignorance. We talked about Tamasic ignorance yesterday. Now today morning it was Rajasic ignorance. Now it is Sattvic ignorance is going to come now. So read the purport and finish for the morning session, and we'll meet at 3 o'clock for the Sattvic ignorance.
Purport of the last verse?
Yeah, last verse, purport.
It is sometimes misunderstood that if one has to associate with persons engaged in devotional service, he will not be able to solve the economic problem. To answer this argument, it is described here that one has to associate with liberated persons not directly, physically, but by understanding through philosophy and logic the problem of life. It is stated here, Samyak Darshanaya Buddhya. One has to see perfectly, and by intelligence and yogic practice, one has to renounce this world. That renunciation can be achieved by the process recommended in the 2nd chapter of the 1st canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The devotee's intelligence is always in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His attitude towards the material existence is one of the detachment. For he knows perfectly well that this material world is creation of illusory energy. Realizing himself to be a part and parcel of the Supreme Soul, the devotee discharges his devotional service and is completely aloof from the material action and reaction. Thus, at the end, he gives up his material body or the material energy, and as pure soul, he enters the kingdom of God. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta.